You can miss this completely. A woman can be emotionally attached to you long before she ever says it, and that is exactly why so many men read the situation wrong. They wait for some huge confession, some dramatic sign, some obvious moment, but emotional attachment usually does not look loud. It looks consistent. It looks subtle. It looks like small behavior that keeps repeating, and if you do not know what you are looking at, you will treat deep emotion like casual interest. So let's make this simple. If she does these things over and over, she is not just attracted, she is emotionally attached to you. And once you see the difference, a lot of her behavior suddenly makes sense. The first sign is when she remembers tiny things that most people forget, not the big obvious facts, the little things, your strange food habit, the story you told once at midnight, the name of your childhood dog, the way your mood changes when you are tired. She brings these things up later without being prompted, and that matters more than most men realize, because people do not store small emotional details unless they care on a deeper level. A woman who is only casually interested may remember the surface version of you. A woman who is emotionally attached starts remembering your patterns. She is not just hearing you, she is mentally keeping you. That is the difference. Most guys misunderstand this because they think remembering details is just a sign of good attention. It is not. It is investment. It means you stayed in her mind after the conversation ended. What should you notice? Notice whether she recalls things that had no social value, things she did not need to remember. That is when you know it is emotional. The second sign is when your energy affects her more than she wants to admit. If you are a little off, she feels it. If you get quiet, she notices. If your replies become dry, her tone changes too. You do not even have to say much. She can sense the shift. Now, most men think this means she is just moody, but that is not always true. A woman becomes emotionally attached when your emotional state starts influencing hers. That is a big deal, because attachment creates sensitivity. When someone matters to you emotionally, their distance feels louder, their warmth feels safer, their coldness feels heavier. That is why she may ask what is wrong even when you barely changed anything, or she may act a little strange after you pull back for a day. It is not always drama. Sometimes it is attachment showing up through emotional reaction. What should you notice? Notice whether she reacts to your emotional shifts before you explain them. That usually means she is already tuned into you on a deeper level. The third sign is when she talks to you even when she has no reason to. No excuse, no favor, no real topic. She sends the random photo, the pointless update, the small joke, the thought that could have stayed in her head but somehow ended up with you. This one gets overlooked all the time, because men often judge interest by how intense the conversation is. That is not the real clue. The real clue is how naturally she keeps you in her day. A woman who is emotionally attached does not only contact you when she wants something. She contacts you because your presence regulates her. Talking to you feels familiar. It feels good. It feels emotionally useful. That is why the message itself may seem small, but the pattern is not small at all. It means you have become part of her internal routine, and once that happens, you are no longer just a person she likes. You are a person she feels connected to. What should you notice? Notice whether she reaches for you during ordinary moments, not just exciting ones. Attachment shows up in the everyday. The fourth sign is when she starts pulling you into her personal world, not just her schedule, her real world. She asks what you think about something that actually matters to her. A family issue, a work decision, something she is nervous about, something she would not ask just anybody. This is where emotional attachment becomes very visible, because when a woman values you emotionally, she does not only want your attention, she wants your perspective. She wants to know how you see things. She wants your presence inside decisions that affect her life. Most people misunderstand this and think she is just being nice or conversational. No. When someone starts including you in the private parts of their thinking, that is intimacy. That means your mind has weight with her. And psychologically that matters because emotional attachment makes people seek emotional anchoring. They want input from the person who feels safe, the person who feels important, the person whose opinion lands differently. What should you notice? Notice whether she only shares polished stories or whether she brings you unfinished emotions and real uncertainty. That second one is where attachment lives. The fifth sign is when she gets affected by the idea of losing your attention. This one is huge, and it rarely shows up in a clean way. Sometimes she asks who you were with. Sometimes her energy changes when another woman is mentioned. Sometimes she suddenly becomes more present when she feels you drifting. Now, this does not always mean jealousy in the dramatic sense, and it definitely does not mean possession, but it does mean your emotional availability matters to her. A lot. That is the key. A woman who is not attached may notice competition and move on. A woman who is emotionally attached feels the threat, even if she hides it, even if she plays it cool, even if all you catch is one tiny change in tone, because attachment creates emotional risk. Once she cares, your attention is no longer neutral, it has value, and the possibility of losing it creates friction inside her. What should you notice? Notice whether she becomes more alert when your focus seems elsewhere, not louder, not crazier, just more aware. The sixth sign is when she softens around you in a way she does not with everyone else. Her voice changes, her guard drops. She shows you the tired version of herself, the insecure version, the playful version that does not need to impress anybody. This is one of the clearest signs of emotional attachment, because real attachment does not only create desire, it creates emotional safety. And when a woman feels emotionally attached, she stops performing all the time. She starts revealing. That means she may tell you things she normally keeps hidden. She may let you see her on bad days. She may stop trying to appear perfect. And most men miss how important that is. They think attraction is all about a woman showing her best self. But emotional attachment often looks like the opposite. She trusts you enough to be unfiltered. That matters psychologically because vulnerability is expensive. People do not offer it where they feel nothing. They offer it where they feel a bond. What should you notice? Notice where she drops the mask. If she becomes more real with you than with the rest of the world, you are not dealing with surface-level interest. The seventh sign is when conflict does not make her disappear, it makes her come back. This might be the strongest sign of all. Because anybody can be warm when things feel easy. Attachment gets exposed when tension enters the room. Maybe you had a misunderstanding. Maybe the vibe changed. Maybe one of you pulled back for a moment. If she is not emotionally attached, distance becomes convenient. She lets it fade. But if she is attached, something else happens. She circles back. She checks in. She tries to repair. Maybe not perfectly. Maybe not immediately. But she does not want the connection to die over one rough moment. And that matters because emotional attachment creates emotional resistance to disconnection. She feels the break. She wants relief from the break. That is why repair effort is such a powerful sign. Most guys only look for affection. Smart men look for return. Who comes back? Who tries to understand? Who cannot stay disconnected for long? What should you notice? Notice whether she protects the bond when tension appears. That is not casual behavior. That is emotional attachment fighting to keep its place. And here's the truth most men learn too late. Emotional attachment is not always loud. It is not always romantic movie energy. It is not always dramatic words. Most of the time, it is pattern, repeated care, repeated sensitivity, repeated emotional presence. That is how you know it is real. She remembers you. She feels you. She remembers you. She includes you. She reacts to losing you. She softens with you. And she tries not to let the connection break. That is not random. That is not normal friendliness. That is a woman whose emotions are already involved. So if she does these things, do not be the guy who keeps asking whether she likes you. Start asking a better question. How deeply is she already attached? Because once you understand that, you stop misreading the moment. You stop fumbling the connection, and you start seeing what was right in front of you the whole time. If you want more of these hidden signs broken down in a way that actually makes sense, stay with me, because the smallest behaviors usually reveal the biggest truths.